I believe it's time we return to the world of overpowered anime protagonists. They usually like to act weak and play the victim role or just, look underwhelming. But in reality, they are the powerhouse of the series. It's time to recommend anime series where overpowered main characters pretend to be weak. Starting this list off with Hero's Return. The famous hero named Zero, the savior of mankind and the strongest there ever was. People looked up to Zero and followed his footsteps until one day he left without a trace. Zero went into hiding, and as he didn't really care about ranks or just wanted to live in peace until one day, years later, he returned only to be remembered by absolutely no one. Now it's a zero to hero journey as he proves he is once again the best hero by beating down the bad guys and showing off his awesome power. Next is Shangri-La Frontier is a brand new anime right now. It's quite similar to Dark Souls due to the protagonist going around naked with no armor but dual-wielding blades and fighting tough monsters. Oh, it's so good. Sunraku is known for playing trash games and completing them, but when this new anime game that came out, a VRMMO called Shangri-La Frontier, he decides to play a good game for once and challenge himself by doing something no one would ever do. Fight bosses as a solo warrior, and just enjoy his time the way he loves to play video games. Next is a playthrough of a certain dude's VRMMO life. Have you ever wondered what it's like when someone plays a VRMMO game and decides to play it by doing life skilling? Well, now you actually get to experience a person leveling up a skill deemed useless in this game. He wants to avoid attention and just be the background character of the series. He decides to make potions, cook food, and defeat monsters with underused or underrated weapons. It makes him believe that he won't get noticed by anyone, but it actually turns out to be the complete opposite of what he expected. Next is a Returner's Magic. Should be special. It focuses on time travel, where one man tries to fix the errors of the future by going back into the past. His magic should be special features a very powerful mage protagonist going back in time after all of his comrades died in the most fearsome battle against a very powerful enemy. He actually got a second chance to relive his past life in the Magic Academy. Knowing everything that he learned, he tries not to show too much of his awesome power but prepares himself and plans for the future if he were ever to encounter a tough monster with his friends once again. Next is Ayaka. It is a bit of a weird one, but I doubt you guys have ever seen a series that is extremely underrated such as this. And to be honest, it's not really the best show either. It's predictable, sure, but it does have its upsides on being somewhat unique. Mysterious life forms have inhabited the Ayaka Island and feed on human negative energy, which turns them into some sort of fearsome monsters that are more powerful than the previous form. The protagonist named Yukito discovers that his father had somewhat of supernatural powers before to protect the islands from these creatures, and now his son is about to follow his footsteps and become the protector of the Ayaka Islands. Next is Classroom of Heroes. If you ever wish to become a hero and save the world from the Demon Lord, well, now you can actually enter the most famous hero school that the heroic legend himself built for all of his successors out there. This is a story of a mysterious, joyful transfer student who enters the academy wanting to make friends, and it so happens to be that this student himself is actually the legendary hero disguised as a regular being when nobody knows that he is, in fact, the real deal. He even overpowered the top student in the academy, which to be honest comes as no surprise. But this is indeed a wacky school adventure you should consider checking out. Next is a very beautifully animated show called Museigen no Phantom World. Is visually very impressive, but the abundance of unnecessary fan service can break the immersion of the show, which is why a lot of people actually turned away from this anime. Phantoms exist in this world, and a school club dedicates itself to hunting down these phantoms since those students possess superpowers to combat them. One of those students is named Haruhiko with the ability to seal away phantoms as soon as he draws them on paper. Though his hidden potential is actually locked away and sealed, he must find a way to achieve his full power when danger does actually approach. Next is Farming Life. In another world, in this a normal farmer who takes care of their crops, but not when you are actually an overpowered being with the spirit of God who can destroy dragons in mere seconds. Farming Life in Another World is about a dude who made a wish after getting ice-skied. He wanted to live in peace and become a farmer and to build his own community of wives and for people to actually live with him. That's it. Yeah, that's the story. It's pretty simple, but it sure is entertaining. Next is Dungeon of Black Company. The main protagonist named Nanomiya lived a rich life in the real world. owning a high-class house with so much money he had absolutely everything. That is until he was isekai'd to the world and became a slave worker for the Dungeon Black Company. There he was forced to work and mine and live in the poorest conditions, but he didn't want to stay this way forever. Now he must rebuild his entire life from the ground up, plotting plans to become rich, beat down the big boss of the Black Company, and side with allies that he can trust to rebuild what he once had. Last one is Have Dragon Raja, which is a Chinese animation series of a boy named Liu Mingfei who was invited to join a very prestigious academy. This is a world where dragons exist and they are the almighty rulers. Of course, the actual aim of this academy is to train the students to combat these dragons and go on a journey to become dragon slayers. Liu's life goes through big changes when he finds out that he was destined to become a powerful slayer when he started with absolutely nothing to become the most powerful. Thank you all so much for watching all the way to the end. As always, subscribe if you did enjoy, and let me know down below which is your favorite Overpowered anime. Thank you for watching, and I'll be catching you all in the next one.